y'all, it's Rachel from J&R Creations, and we are on to our last part, part 3 of the stir stick. I'm sorry it's taken so long to get it all done, and we had to break it up in so many parts, but we did also start from the very beginning and then adding and all of that, and I just didn't want it all in one part, so that is also why I kind of broke it up. So it would be a really long video, and I wanted to be able to explain it all. And yes, different clothes again, because yesterday when we were recording, they were doing work, and it just got louder as after I ended, and they were out there for a while, or over there for a while, so I just wanted to make sure we didn't have that noise. They were there this morning, but they left, so I'm hoping they're done now and they won't come back. So that is what we have. I know I'm a little close with the camera, but I want you to see what I'm doing on the back too, because that's the last part, so this one won't be as long. I just feel glue strings, so I'm just kind of pulling those off. But yeah, that's what we have. So now we're going to fold it over, and as you can see, there's some picks sticking out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them at the bottom just so that there's no issue of them maybe falling out after I clip them. And I clip them so that they don't scratch the customer's door. I want it as flat and everything as possible. And then I do add in the piece of ribbon across that, because I have sold a couple of these, and many people were very, very thankful that I covered it like I did, because they had it on their like screen door, so when it shut, they could see inside. So, and that helps make it look a little nicer, because we have all of this on there and all of that, so just double security. All right, so let that dry for a minute, and then, like I said, I did add in those little single ones of these. I just kind of put them in the middle, and then I noticed there was a big spot in the middle where there was nothing except some ribbon, and you could see the pipe cleaner, so I just kind of put that in the middle to kind of help hide it. So first thing I want to do is I want to check these. I'll unspin it or untwist it, and I'm just going to make sure they're pulled really tight. These are the bows, so that's why I say I want to make sure they're put on really, really tight. So I don't want them coming loose. And we're going to do the same down here. And then we're going to twist them up like 1/4 to 1/2 inch. And then we're going to cut them. And then we're just going to kind of lay it flat, because that will be covered. Just adding a little bit more glue on this one, because this one isn't in as deep as I thought it was. So I just want to make sure it sits when I take it off. And then we're going to do the same on this side. So we're going to twist it 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. and then just lay it flat. And then we're going to start cutting these edges off that need to come out. So I'm going to try to cut them as low as I can so it's not sticking out really, really badly. And some of these I might go in a little bit and cut it a little farther in just so that you really don't see it. It just depends on where it's sitting. Like there's one underneath here, so I'm not going to be able to get under there, but I can at least chop it as much as I can, which wasn't a whole lot, and that's okay. And then definitely for sure this one. I'm just trying to see how low it is. So I think we're going to go in here a little bit, and we're going to get that one off. And then I'm just going to add a little more glue to help hold it in. Since I went a little lower. Same with this one. I'm going a little bit lower. Just because I don't want them sticking out if I don't have to. This one's going to be a little tough too, but it's kind of under the stir stick, so I'm not as worried. You'd really just want it to clean up and look really nice. So that's all that I'm doing. And I do apologize. It keeps moving and sometimes I don't realize I'm not up as close. So like this piece that's sticking up right here. Not sure if you can see it, but it's right there. I'm going to go in just a little bit. Probably just going to kind of line up with the mesh in the back here. And that's fine. So as you can see, you don't really see it. Now this one, you can see very well. So you can see how much it's sticking out. So I'm going to cut this one like that. And see, now you can barely see it, which is what I want. This one I'm actually going to cut inside here and then just add a little bit more glue so it's not so far out, sticking out. And that's just kind of what I'm looking for, is these longer ones that I can cut shorter and make sure they're not poking out so they don't scrape the door and it doesn't look so messy. So I also covered the backs of, ooh, I got some glue there, of my wire wreaths with felt or a steering wheel cover or whatever that will fit on it, because I don't want all that mess and I want it covered so that it doesn't scrape the door. And I think that's it. Otherwise it looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this yellow. Yeah, we're getting low, but I have a whole nother ream of it that's almost full because I didn't realize I had two and was kind of, before I got more organized with it, I was kind of going back and forth between the two. So, and then I want it to be able to go over a little bit. So I'll probably have to cut a little bit into this side so it'll go around the hook. So I want just a little bit of length on it so that when I glue it, I can fold it over. So now I'm going to come up, I'm going to move this a little closer so you can see. So as you can see, I want to start on this end, and that might even have been a little too much. You know what? I'll just take it. And I want to put it on, and I want to fold it over on this side. And then, so I'm going to glue that. So I'm going to kind of fold this back, and I'm going to put some hot glue on. And then I'm going to refold it. Just be careful when you're folding it over and you're kind of touching it. I know there's things you can use and push, but I just want to make sure it's covered. I'm going to let that dry for a minute. Because I am probably going to have to add a piece of glue. I don't want to put too much glue on the back because I don't want it to be full of glue. So I'm probably going to try to put a little piece of glue like in the middle here. And then at the other end. So I'm just going to lift it up and I'm going to kind of, it's right by one of the pipe cleaners. So I'm just going to kind of put it on either side of the pipe cleaner. And then I'm going to kind of pull it as tight as I can. Hot. And I'm going to put that on. Not as tight as I wanted, but kind of work on that. Okay, that's a little better. So as you see, I kind of glued it right there, and then I have it glued over here, and then it's just kind of sitting on there. So next, we're going to come to this end. And since I have this here, I am going to have to cut a little bit off and then cut kind of down the middle so that I can go around. So I just put a slit for right now till I can kind of see. I got to go a little farther with it. So that's okay. And it doesn't have to be perfectly in the middle. Sorry, my hands shake all the time, so it's not just something I deal with. And then I'm gonna, I might end up having to glue it like right here and in here just so it stays tight. But, so I'm gonna put glue on. I'm gonna cut just a little bit more off because I feel like it's a little long. I'm sorry, I need to mute that. When I'm on, I just forget sometimes, or turn down that. So then I'm going to glue that end again, and then we're going to go, and actually since this is kind of not, might have to add a little bit glue in a couple other spots as it's coming up. Not too much, just enough to hold it down. We don't want it super loose, so I might add a little glue right here and maybe right there. And then I'm going to hit the glue on here. And I'm going to fold it under the paint stick. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Like I said, there is things you can use to push it, or like I think there's things for your fingers when you're dealing with the hot glue. I just don't have them, and sometimes when I can't feel my fingers, it's not very helpful, so I just kind of use my fingers a little bit. And then that is done. Like I said, I know this one is going to be super short compared to the rest, but, and then I'll just kind of, so that's what it looks like on there, all the way across. And you can't really see it a whole lot because it's yellow, so it kind of blends in, which is good. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of go back through, make sure everything's glued in, make sure I didn't miss anything, because it does happen sometimes. Especially when I'm setting it up before, like right there, before I start gluing, because if I want to move something, I don't want to glue it and have to figure out how to pull it out and move it somewhere else. So I'll just kind of check it all. Make sure it's in the spots I want it to be. This one I kind of want to sit up more, so got that there. And then we're just kind of I did just glue this one, but maybe I didn't. Oh. See, like I said, it happens. And that's why I always go back around and check. Because I don't want to sell it and have something fall off, you know. And even when you go around, sometimes it just didn't glue correctly, or you missed the spot and it just didn't hold. So that's why I always do a double check on everything. And it looks like it's complete. And it's good. And everything in the middle is good, which I am very happy about. So, yay. And then what I'm also going to do is have the bow. I don't want the bow to move, so I'm messing with it to kind of feel to get it all touched and kind of get it rounded out versus so flat. I'm trying to set it up to where I can have this, where you can see everything. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue underneath so that it stays in its spot. I'm going to do it on both of them too. Both the bows. So I'm probably not going to really mess with the outside ones, but I am going to mess with I'm not going to glue the ones more on top, but I'm going to glue the 3 kind of bottom ones just so that they stay in place. I really don't want them moving too much, so there we go. And then I'm going to fix the top here. You might not see this bow quite as much, but that's okay. You'll still see the gist of it. So now I'm going to glue these in place so that they don't move ever. The first 3. And then we're going to kind of leave this one out that way. And now we're going to find these. Trying to get those set up and kind of rounded. Oop. And I'll kind of let those sit. So that's all I do. I don't add a whole lot of glue. Just enough to hold them in place. So I'll let them dry. I'll look for more glue strings, all of that. I'll hang it up for now because we're having storms. It's been raining on and off, so before I can do the picture outside, I just want to make sure it's not like raining because I don't want to get it wet before I sell it, and especially if they have a covered place where they can put it. So that is the stir stick wreath. I think it's nice and full, and if you didn't tell anybody, they would probably think this is more of a swag, which is nice. So I think it turned out good. But thank you for watching. I really enjoy it, and like I said in all the other ones, If you have any questions, recommendations for like other wreaths that you'd like to see made, anything, just comment and let me know. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.